My 33F best friend's 33F dad 48M has started dating my mother-in-law 51F. In her previous marriage, her and her husband were extreme alcoholics. She was a stay-at-home wife while he was a master electrician/foreman for a large company with the oil fields. She got used to a very comfortable lifestyle. This is going to be pretty long, so I'm sorry on advance. I just want you all to know the backstory. During their marriage, they had a lot of combative events and blow-up arguments. At different points in their marriage, she had some levels of extreme physical actions against him. They were at home drunk and arguing. She intentionally boiled water and threw it on him. Thankfully, she was too drunk to clearly aim, so he had minor burns and nothing major. But she boiled water to throw on him. WTF. Another event, she was driving while he sat passenger. They were arguing and she intentionally swerved into a tree. She broke her femur and he was relatively scratch-free. But again, she wrecked their vehicle on purpose because of a fight. It was just very, very toxic pretty much all the time. This behavior had caused multiple points of my husband and I going very limited contact to keep out children away from any of it. About 6 years ago, she and her then husband had gone out on the town and spent most of the day/night drinking on their motorcycle. They went home. Her husband wanted to go back out. She didn't. They ended up arguing, and it escalated pretty quickly. He got on his bike and left. He totaled his motorcycle and passed away. Roughly a year later, she reconnected with a middle/junior high school friend, and they started dating. I think it started mostly to not be lonely, as both their marriages ended suddenly with the death of a spouse. Turns out this is my best friend's father. His wife passed away within a few months of her husband's deadly wreck. They've been together for several years now. Her drinking wanes. She does really good for a while, and then drinks heavy for a night, and the her in the previous story comes out. He moved into her home about 6 months after they started dating. His home needed too much work for it to stay a viable option. After his wife passed, he sort of gave up and the home became condemnable. He had an old 90s model Chevy truck. It worked well enough. He is also disabled due to spinal injuries. He essentially had his entire spine pieced with rods and pins. He is able to get up and move around and is a hard worker, but he needs to be mindful. She works full-time but could not support herself or the lifestyle she wants and got used to with her income. This is important. Over the last few years, she had lorded her house over his head when he doesn't do what she wants. She has coerced him into getting a new truck, which has now been totaled, so he now has no vehicle and multiple credit cards. She has 26 credit cards herself. I counted them the last time she asked me to check their expiration dates because her vision is shit. In order to pay these debts and keep her nails done, he has started working for a wrecker service. He legit signs his check over to her. He wasn't able to get a haircut this week because G didn't have the money, but her nails are done. He fell this last winter and had to go to the hospital. Thankfully, he was okay, just some bruising. She says his job isn't that fucking hard, you just drive in the AC and load cars and drop them with a machine. They got into a spat several months back. She had been drinking, and she went to leave in her car. He tried to stop her because she didn't need to be driving. He shouldn't have done this because it's not safe, but he reached into the car and tried to put it in park while she stopped to yell at him. She got mad and ended up dragging him about 20 foot. He is typically calm, but does his own level of shit-talking and says hurtful things but has never been physical. He leaves when things escalate, then comes back when things have settled. But it's looking really familiar. Last night we all went out to dinner. It was tense. She was drinking and being just shitting hole. He sat relatively quiet and didn't interact much. We all went to our own homes. Around 10:30 p.m. my best friend called me to say she was going to pick her dad up because my Emile had called the cops to have him removed from her house. He lives there. The cops can't remove him. She'd have to do a whole court thing. I don't think he knows the actual history of her previous marriage, and I want to tell him. The thing is, she's my Emile, my husband is pretty disconnected and tries to stay very neutral and uninvolved. Husband thinks he should know but doesn't want it to create issues in our home because it's his mom. I'm perfectly fine going back to limited contact because it's dramatic and dangerous and I don't want my kids or myself involved. But telling him about the history to dig me into that hole. Her boyfriend says he wants to be alone, but then keeps going back. I think he feels financially stuck. He doesn't have a livable home, he now doesn't have a vehicle at all, and has accrued so much debt. He is easily manipulated, and I feel like it's almost Stockholm Syndrome. I think if I told him how I've seen this play out in her previous marriage, and it only escalates. I want him to be safe, and he's not with her. WIBTAH to tell him the actual history with her previous marriage?